Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing good. Y'all know why you're here. Starts at week number 8. We got to get these lineups in right this week because we got to come away with these dubs, man. All the bye weeks, all the injuries, playing third string wide receivers and running backs. It's not going to be pretty for a lot of y'all, I understand. But if we could get away with these wins this week, it's going to be a massive show for us, no question. Before we get started, go check out our friends Optimus Fantasy. Go sign up today. Advanced stats, data, analytic tools, DFS tools. Use promo code COVER1 when you sign up. Get 70% off their gold jacket access package and go sign up for Cover One Pass. Become a member today. These guys are amazing at film breakdowns. If you ever want to learn about the game, you got to sign up for this, man. They will educate you to the top end degrees. We also have the Discord channel with yours truly in the Fantasy Football channel as well, along with every other member exclusively with all the members and content creators from Cover One definitely in this. So if you're interested, go sign up at cover1.net today. Cover One Pass. It is definitely worth the price of admission. But bye week troubles, like I've been saying all week long. Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, LA Rams, Las Vegas Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks all on the bye week, definitely causing us a lot of fits this week to start, who to sit, and it's going to be a big problem, but y'all know the drill. It is rapid fire, every team, every player. Atlanta Falcons, let's go, baby. Michael Penix Jr., he's got the injury risk, taking on these Miami Dolphins, and you know, if he is healthy, Coach Morris did say he is encouraged for him to suit up in this contest. That is positive news. It could be Kirk Cousins as well. Either way, I think that this game is going to be a fluff show, and the Atlanta Falcons should be able to roll clean through these Miami Dolphins who are struggling, but there is a, potential setup for the Dolphins to maybe get an upset, but I highly doubt it, man. If Penix does suit up, I'm going to put him on the injury risk in the green. They might run the football a lot in this contest, which is good news for Bijan Robinson, stud start of the week. This man should have at least 30 points in this contest. I will be shocked if it does not occur. Tyler Algier, he's also dealing with a hip and a knee issue, so this is also good news for Bijan, but I have a good feeling that Tyler's going to suit up in this contest, be no worse for wear, mid-level risk, and if this game does get out of hand, he's going to see a lot of the workload in that fourth quarter, so he is definitely worthy of a start this week as well with all the troubles that we do have. Drake London, low-level risk, fire him up. He should have a good bounce back this week. Not very good on the boom rate, man. Only 2 boom games all season long. It's been very up and down for this man, but that comes, toe and toe with the fact of how Michael Penix is and is not playing, so Drake London, fire him up, low-level risk. Darnell Mooney, I do like the play this week, especially as our low-end wide receiver 2 flex option. Good upside on the mid-level risk. Even if Kirk Cousins does play, he should be able to at least support all these wide receivers. Casey Washington not touching over Kyle Pitts. Coming off a decent show last week. TD upside on the mid-level risk for me. Baltimore Ravens coming off the bye week, taking on the Chicago Bears. Then they got good news. Lamar Jackson is back in effect, baby. Low-level risk, fire him up. It might take him a quarter or two to get back to football shape and get his football legs running. I fully expect a lot of Derrick Henry in this contest early on, and then hopefully Lamar Jackson starts throwing the football. A battered and bruised Chicago Bears defensive secondary, so there's going to be open ample opportunity for Lamar Jackson to throw the football, fire up Lamar if he does suit up, which he should, in trending in the right direction. Derrick Henry gets his buddy back, partner in crime, so the run game is going to be better than it has been. There is no question in my mind. Low-level risk for Derrick Henry. He should have a very good, strong day versus Chicago Bears in a must-win situation for these Baltimore Ravens. Just Hill not touching it. Where Zay Flowers, mid-level risk. I'm just curious to see how much Lamar Jackson does throw the football this week. I still like the play of him as well in coming off the bye week, so lots of rest, lots of prep time and practice time. Hopefully Lamar Jackson shakes off the rust after missing a few games himself. Rashad Bateman, high-level risk. I do not like it this week, where D-Hop would have the TD dependency on the mid-level risk, but I do like me some Mark Andrews, baby. It is National Tight Ends Week, y'all. Get ready for all the tight ends to pop off in a big way. I do like TD upside on the mid-level for Mark Andrews, where Isaiah Likely still going to go with a high-level risk until he has his breakout campaign. Buffalo Bills coming off the bye week as well, taking on the Carolina Panthers, and the Bills need a big-time get-right game in the biggest of ways. Coming off that bye week, off that terrible loss to those Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. Low-level risk for Josh Allen, man. You know, he said his grandma was telling me just wants him to be happy, Happy Gilmore style. I'm telling y'all, this is good, man, because he's going to start playing, more free. I just want to be happy, and he's going to play good. Obviously, we're firing up Josh Allen. Low-level risk, should be able to. Even though Carolina Panthers defense is relatively sound, I still obviously think that Josh Allen should be able to put up a lot of points. Low-level risk for James Cook, 2 bust games in a row before the bye week. I do like the play of James. They should get back to the well, start force-feeding the run game, get him in open space, especially with the injuries that the Bills do have with Josh Palmer out with an injury as well. Dalton Kincaid is a questionable, also may sit this contest as well. James Cook's got to be the engine that chugs this team, no question. Ray Davis not touching it like we haven't all season long. We're Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. It's still got to go Khalil, man. PPR upside in the green for Khalil for me in this contest. It's got to be James Cook and it's got to be Khalil Shakir, the featured players on this team. I don't know why Joe Brady is, mix and matching with this so much because Keon Coleman's not showing us near enough of what we require at this point. For me, low upside, mid-level risk. I do not like Keon this week as well. I think that a lot of coverage could be going to his side. With his name evades me, the defensive back for those Carolina Panthers. Kid's an absolute stud. J.C. Horn, there it is, came back to me right there. So J.C. Horn should see a lot of Keon Coleman this week, or Keon Coleman should see a lot of J.C. Horn. So I do not like the play of Keon, where Khalil should be able to eat quite a bit over the middle, even if a Dalton Kincaid does sit this week. Where Curtis Samuel, it's actually a revenge game for him. There is sleeper appeal for me this week. He's going back to Carolina where it all began for him. Revenge game. He should be able to suit up in this contest and do something. Hopefully, Elijah Moore, boomer bust on the red. I'm not trusting it this week, even without a Josh Palmer. And Dalton Kincaid, injury risk on the mid-level risk. If he does play this week, I'm definitely suiting him up because National Tight End Week is definitely going to be a good one. Carolina Panthers taking on my Buffalo Bills. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, is going to be suiting up because Bryce Young is doubtful with an ankle injury, likely a high ankle, gone for 2 to 4 weeks. So high-level risk for an Andy Dalton. I mean, I don't foresee him doing a lot versus the Buffalo Bills. Going to be a lot tougher than a lot of people expect, but I do expect a lot of run attack from these Panthers. Control the clock, keep Josh Allen and company off of the field. Rico Suave, Rico Dwaddle, and Chuba Hubbard, they should be able to run free versus a Buffalo Bills defense that has struggled quite a bit versus the run, even though the Bills do get a lot. 2 players back from suspension on the defensive side. Hoyt and the other defensive tackle are coming back. His name evades me. Man, what is wrong with my brain today? But they'll still be able to run. Hoyt's a very interesting character. Should be able to rush the passer quite a bit, which may make it easier for the Bills to stop the run. But I still like Rico and Chuba this week because the Bills got to prove that they can stop the run at this point of the season. Ted McMillan, mid-level risk. I don't like it with Andy Dalton so much. Don't really like it with a Bryce Young either, but you want to see more touchdowns. Outside of garbage time productivity, I don't foresee a big day from a Tet. We could see a handful of catches for him for maybe another 65-yard type of game. Xavier Legette, low floor on the mid-level risk. Maybe gets himself a garbage touchdown. I'm just not trusting it versus the Bills secondary that can and should be able to at least make some plays, especially if they get after Andy Dalton early and often. Jalen Colker is a boomer bust for me, likewise with a Jatavion Sanders. High-level risk, so the only ones I'm really trusting in this contest from these Panthers is Chuba and Rico. Chicago Bears taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Caleb Williams and company, they're starting to improve. They're starting to turn a corner. The run game is working, and it's, they just haven't put it all together just yet. Last week, again, they ran the football extremely well. Almost want to say exceptionally well. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, they looked very good last week as well. So Caleb Williams, mid-level risk for me versus a Ravens defense that still is quite injured. There should be open opportunities. There still is ups and downs with Caleb, but at least, if he can find his wide receivers off this play-action pass with the run game now working, his game should definitely improve. I do like the play of a Caleb this week. Even though it is in Baltimore, I do caution the top-end upside where DeAndre Swift is dealing with an injury, still with that groin issue. He should play this week like he did last week. He was no worse for wear, so volume upside in the green for DeAndre, where Kyle Monangai, I do like it this week as well, man, with the Ravens defense in battered shape as they are, mid-level risk. The floor is, there's no really big middle ground for a Monangai this week. I do like the floor, but, the ceiling, we'll see. He's just got to get touches and, he's volume dependent. So mid-level risk for me. If you have injuries and issues filling your roster this week, Monangai, I'm okay with. DJ Moore is coming off of that hip injury, mid-level risk for me. We're a bounce-back game for Rome Odunze is definitely what the doctor ordered. 2 bust games in a row after booming 4 times already this season. Bounce back in the green. They got to get him involved early and often, where Luther Burden just doesn't see enough targets. High-level risk for me, and no Cole Kmet this week, so this could be a Colston Loveland day. I'm just not trusting it. Even on National Tight Ends Week, I'm definitely not trusting it this week. High-level risk for a Colston Loveland. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New York Jets. Joe Flacco, another revenge game, but he's got like 6 of them because he's played for how many teams in the league already. Low-level risk versus a New York Jets team that will not have Sauce Gardner on the field as well. He is out of this contest due in part to an injury. So, man, get ready for Ja'Marr Chase to blow up once again. I like the play of Joe Flacco, low-level risk this week. Where Chase Brown, mid-level risk, I love the play of him as well. This Bengals offense looks so much better with a Joe Flacco under center, and I think it's going to continue that way. It is very good in all phases for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm definitely all for it. Fire up Chase Brown everywhere he got him. Ja'Marr Chase, we don't even have to discuss it. Man took like 26 targets last week, caught like 17 balls, low-level risk, fire him up, even though we could see a little bit more of spreading the wealth from a Joe Flacco now that he's been with the team for approximately 3 weeks. Now we can start to see a little bit more from T. Higgins. I foresee T having a good day as well. TD upside in the green. We can play Chase and Higgins. Andrei Iosivas, I'm not touching this week, even though he has had some decent chemistry with Joe Flacco early. Don't like it, but Noah Fant, TD dependency on the mid-level risk. I do like the play of Fant this week as well versus a lowly New York Jets squad, man. Cleveland Brownies taking on the New England Patriots. This offense overall is quite ugly, and it's just too many rookies, man, and there's not enough high-end upside. Dylan Gabriel, high-level risk. Even though the Patriots' defense isn't necessarily that top-end unit at this point, they are making a lot of plays, and they will make life difficult for a Dylan Gabriel. High-level risk, don't like it. We're Q Judkins. This kid's legit, man. You're talking about some of the best running backs to come out of this draft class. Q was right there with them all. I absolutely loved them all, man. It was Genty, it was Hampton, it was Trev, and then it was Q Judkins for me. These guys were absolutely unbelievable talents, even though I did have Hampton as my number 1 running back as well. But Judkins, low-level risk, fire him up. I digress, man. 4 boom games. Kid is absolutely stellar, and he's just going to continue to move this football. Dylan Sampson has taken a backseat since Judkins came, and there's no reason to look in his direction. Likewise with a Jerry Jeudy. I do not like a Jeudy at all, like I've been saying all off season long. It was a recipe for disaster, and it continues. Low upside, not even 40 points through 7 weeks. It is a bad news show for Jerry Jeudy. Isaiah Bond, Jamari Thrash, not touching it with any 10-foot pole. Harold Fannin Jr., even though we got David Njoku potentially coming back from that knee injury this week, I got good upside in the green for a Fannin on tight end day where Njoku mid-level risk. They both could get a touchdown this week. I'm not even playing with y'all, man. So Fannin over Njoku, but if you have Njoku and he does suit up, I'm definitely okay starting both these tight ends, man. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Denver Broncos. Dak Prescott and company 3-3-1, coming off a very good offensive punch last week as well. CeeDee Lamb looked fresh and ready to go. Dak Prescott mid-level risk versus a very stingy Denver Broncos front that's going to come after him quite a bit. So there could be some sacks that he's going to take, but do I like the start? I think they're better starts than Dak this week as well, but I do like the play. This offense is very strong, and if they continue to move in this direction, they're going to be very hard to play week in, week out, even versus Denver Broncos defense that did get carved up by Jackson Dart, by the way, but I'm just going to play it safe, mid-level risk for Dak Prescott. Javonte Williams, revenge game in the green. He's going to want to stick it to his former club. There is no question. I love the play. You know me, man. I love me some revenge games. Only time I didn't do it was with Stephon Diggs versus the Bills. I'm not going to make that mistake again, man. Vontae versus the Broncos. Revenge game in the green. Fire him up. Jaden Blue, the blueprint, baby. Still nothing left on that blueprint to make any plays in fantasy football. Where CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, both in the green for me, even though it is one of them is going to be taken on a Pat Surtain for most of the day. He's going to be moving around this field if one of these guys starts to go off. So CeeDee Lamb in the green on PPR upside and George Pickens in the green for TD upside. Absolutely love the play of both of them, even versus this defense that is supposedly strong. I do like Lamb and Pickens to continue to make plays as they have all season long. 6 boom games for George. This might be one of the best suggestions I had, advice to give you guys all off season long. This was a no-brainer, man. George Pickens with Dak Prescott. Come on now, man. We had this locked up in the offseason. And Jake Ferguson, TD Floor in the green. His great season will continue on National Tight Ends Day. Fire him up everywhere you got him. It's going to be a recurring theme throughout this show, no question. Denver Broncos taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Bo Nix, Bo knows. Okay, I mean, they started slow out the gates, and this has been a recurring theme for these Denver Broncos all season long. Very slow out the gates, and then they pick up steam, and then they end up winning games in the most, peculiar fashions. Low-level risk versus Cowboys. This should be a shootout in many aspects of this game, and I mean, the Cowboys defense alone, they can't stop a Colt, so you see a lot of green for these Denver Broncos. J.K. Dobbins been on a schneid the past 2 weeks, nothing really overly dynamic and special. This is a bounce-back week for J.K. They should lean upon him and run the football quite a bit. Low-level risk, fire up J.K. everywhere he got him. R.J. Harvey, PPR floor on the mid-level. If this game does get out of hand just a little bit, we could see some more RJ Harvey, and I do like the play in deeper leagues, not necessarily 12-man, but RJ Harvey could get some play as well. Cortland Sutton, absolutely fire him up everywhere he got him. What do we do with Marvin Mims and a Troy Franklin? For my money this week, I do like Franklin for the TD upside this week over a Marvin Mims, who has a good PPR floor, both on the mid-level risk. So if I'm picking out of the two, it's Troy over Mims, but they both should be able to get at least some sprinkles of touches. But I love me some Evan Ingram this week. Why? Because it's National Tight Ends Day, man. I told you I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to repeat it. Breakout contest for an Evan Ingram this week. I absolutely love the play. It's been far too long since this man has had a big, strong day. Green Bay Packers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Jordan Love, feeling the love for love. Not so much these past couple games. Come on, Jordan. You're killing me over here, man. I'm promoting you, and you're just not doing it. It's just their identity again. So who's going to finally take the leap as the wide receiver one on this team? Romeo Doubs. Romeo hasn't necessarily done it. He had the one blow-up game. We're still waiting for Matthew Golden to take that next leap in his progression. No Dontavian Wicks. Christian Watson's still gone. Jaden Reed's still gone on the injured reserve, but he's coming back shortly as well. But Jordan Love versus Steelers defense, that does look old and aging, mid-level risk, because the floor is getting to be around that 15, 16-point mark. Don't like it. I want to see 20-point spots from Jordan Love. I still don't hate the play this week. It is a revenge game for an Aaron Rodgers, so you know Jordan Love's going to bring his A game. Josh Jacobs, he was dealing with injuries. Good to go this week. Low-level risk. He's been an absolute killer. 5-boom games, 115 points. Fire up a Jacobs everywhere he got him. Where Matthew Golden dealing with a hip issue as well. This does open the door for a decent contest of PPR peppering to a Romeo Doubs. Romeo, PPR upside mid-level risk over a Golden this week. Low floor mid-level, don't like it. Where a Malik Heath is a sleeper in the red. So if you got the kahunas to play a Malik Heath this week, there is definite upside to be sleeper appeal. He's the forgotten man. There might be some plays sprinkled to his direction. He's a good tall wide receiver, can make some plays, but again, it is very much boomer or bust. Tucker Kraft, low-level risk, fire him up. Why? Because it is National Tight Ends Day. Houston Texans versus San Francisco 49ers. CJ Stroud looked absolutely horrific. And I mean, can we blame him 110%? I want to say no, man. That offensive line just does not block for him, but he has got happy feet. He's seeing ghosts out there. The game is super fast for the kid right now, and I really don't like his game. Low floor on the high-level risk versus a 49ers defense and a 49ers team in general that is playing above their pay grade right now. All these injuries, and they're still able to, strap together 5 wins and have 5-2 record going against former defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans. I mean, this is going to be a very good show for the 49ers defense because there is no Nico Collins. It's going to be tough sledding for CJ Stroud this week. Do not like the play. We're Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. I'm leaning Woody over a Nick Chubb. We got a Woody Chubb in the house. Volume floor on the mid-level risk for Chubb, where a mid-level risk for Marks does exist. At least the floor is roughly around the 10, 11 points for Woody Marks at this point. What do we do with these wide receivers? Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, and Xavier Hutchinson. For me, you got to go with the playmaker with the most amount of speed and juice. That's Jalen Noel for me. Sleeper appeal on the green. Again, there is very much big-time boomer bust, but they got to test it at some point. And you get the ball in this kid's hands, he can absolutely make a lot of plays. So he's the one I'm looking for to make more plays this week. But I don't trust really any of it on this offense this week whatsoever. We're Dalton Schultz without a Nico Collins. There is a decent PPR floor. Could get you another 11, 12 points this week, as I'm not necessarily overly excited for him to break out on National Tight Ends Day. But again, a mid-level risk. PPR floor is definitely safe. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Tennessee Titans. Daniel Jones, Daniel Pennies. Who would have thought that these guys would have been 6-1? Me. If you got the draft guide, you guys knew. I'm telling y'all, I said Daniel Jones was the biggest sleeper quarterback this season, and he's just proven it, man. Almost 150 points on his resume at this point. 6 boom games. You see in the NFL what a good offensive line can do. for any type of quarterback, even somebody who's, lost his game. He feels so safe and cozy back there. He's making coffee back there. He's doing very well. But it also does help not only with the offensive line. You got a thoroughbred like Jonathan Taylor. JT, baby. He's absolutely killing it. 7 boom games in 7 weeks. 167 points. This man's absolutely killing it. Fire up a Daniel Jones, Daniel Pennies, and a Jonathan Taylor this week without even thinking about it versus these lowly Titans, man. Michael Pittman, low-level risk. Fire him up everywhere he got him, man. He has been one of the biggest steals of the offseason for our fantasy drafts. He will continue to play ball as he is making the case to be the favorite target for a Daniel Jones. Where Josh Downs, we're always down for Downs. He's back from his concussion protocol, mid-level risk, because an Alec Pierce is showcasing the fact that he should get more targets as he is becoming extremely reliable for this offense. Actually, he always has been. I don't think I speak enough praise for an Alec Pierce over the years. He is very reliable when called upon. He makes a lot of plays. So Downs may get some targets this week, but I won't be shocked if we see continued peppering going to an Alec Pierce. Mid-level risk for Downs, TD upside on the mid-level for an Alec Pierce. Where Tyler Warren, low-level risk, this dude is absolutely stellar as well. It also helps that you have a tight end like him who is the cream of the crop coming out of this draft class. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Washington Commanders, the Commies on Monday Night Football. This one could get ugly very fast. And damn these Chiefs, man. What else can I say but damn these Chiefs? But my evaluation's always unbiased. Patrick Mahomes, 175 points. I was worried about it, and I said it in the offseason. This is going to be a rebound campaign for him for fantasy football, and that's exactly what's going down. Almost 200 points in 7 weeks. Patrick Mahomes got a plethora of weapons to throw to. Now you got Rashee Rice back. Mahomes' easy start versus the Commanders this week. Should have another very strong day. It does come at the expense of this run attack where Isaiah Pacheco, volume floor, mid-level risk. I do not like it. Kareem Hunt dealing with injuries. Brashard Smith may get more in the mix as well with PPR upside. So for me, if I'm playing one, it would be Smith over Hunt. But I mean, Pacheco, very hard to trust at this point. He's really done nothing this entire season. If you got better options, take it. If you're stuck with injuries and bye weeks, I understand you having to play it. Where Rashee Rice comes back, they said they're going to force feed him, and that's exactly what they did, coming off a 2-tutty performance, 19 points, 1 boom game in his first game back. Fire up Rice everywhere he got him. Where Hollywood seems to be, the secondary target from this wide receiver room right now, where Xavier Worthy, they're almost giving him a break to heal up because he's still dealing with those injuries. Hollywood on the mid-level risk. Don't dislike the play in the flex. Where Juju, high-level risk, don't like it. Where Xavier Worthy, mid-level risk. I'm going to start him again this week. There's got to be opportunities for this man to eventually start to make plays, but that ankle's been bothering him. That shoulder's been bugging him, so that's why they're kind of going with the Hollywood Rice show. And then Travis Kelce, TD upside. Why? Because it is National Tight Ends Day. Miami Dolphins taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Y'all going to be sick of me after this show, I'm telling y'all. Miami Dolphins taking on those Atlanta Falcons. Tua, turn the ball over. I'm sorry, Tua Tagovailoa. Take the mic away from this man. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Every time he gets up on the podium, he's talking a bunch of ish that, nobody can understand at this point. Tua, just stop talking, man. Your team is in complete disarray. 1-6. The coach is going to get fired soon. Everybody's looking to get traded. I'm telling y'all, low floor for him versus the Falcons. Front 7 that can come after the quarterback with the bum rush. I really feel bad for Tua in this contest, man. Hopefully he is safe and his health is okay, because he's going to be on his back a lot, man. Devin off the A-Chain, the only bright spot on this team right now. He is legit carrying all the offense right now. Darren Waller, he's out now on injured reserve with a pec injury. Thanks for the 3 games, Darren. Frickin' going rap star. I don't understand, man. Whatever. I'm angry because I picked you up and I was like, yeah, I got myself a tight end 1, and now I got to go back to the drawing board, damn it. But I digress. Devin off the A-Chain, low-level risk. Fire him up, even though it is versus an Atlanta Falcons front 7 that can come after him. It's A-Chain. He's going to make some plays, man. Ollie Gordon's done nothing. We don't touch it. We're Jalen Waddle time. Target upside, even though they're going to double cover him all day long, because there is no other threat now that Waller is gone as well. Malik Washington, nothing really to look at here. Where Nick Westbrook, Akine, definitely nothing to look at in this direction either. And Tanner Connor now, especially with Julian Hill, the backup tight end, out of this contest. Now you're on third strings. High-level risk for all these gentlemen. Do not like it. Will not touch it. Achane and Waddle, the only consideration. And Waddle, I might even consider sitting this week because I don't like the double teams that are likely coming to his direction. New England Patriots taking on the Cleveland Brownies. Drake May and company. Is there a more impressive young quarterback than Drake May right now? Probably not. And it sucks that he plays for these Patriots. But my dude, Drake May, he's so damn good, so poised, throws such a pretty ball. And they got so many weapons on this team right now. The only person that's pissing me off is Josh McDaniels, man. You curtailed, he said, the game flow went the way it did because that's why Trevion didn't get many touches. Dude, stop lying. I don't know what he did to you, man. It's okay. You can give him the football. He had 6 of 6 receptions, 6 targets, 6 receptions in week 1, and he was what? He's got 88% catch rate on the season, and you're like, yeah, we don't want to use him anymore. He's no good. Are you kidding me? Oh, see, this is what happens, man. I get angry because you do stupid things. But anyway, Drake May, low-level risk. Fire him up if we got him. Trevion, unfortunately, we got to put him on the bench until further notice. Maybe this is the breakout, but against the Cleveland Browns defense that is still very strong on the defensive side with Myles Garrett and company, I do not like it. Volume dependencies, mid-level risk. I'd bench a Trevion this week. We're Ramondre Stevenson coming off a good contest. I don't like it. Volume upside is definitely here, but I do not like it outside of a touchdown saving his day. Going to be very tough for them to run the football quite a bit. Unless they get in the red zone with Dre, that's what you're going to be hoping for. So there might be a lot of biting your fingernails off in this contest. What do we do with these wide receivers? Stefon Diggs, we can Diggs it, man. Target floor, mid-level risk. He's been dealing with that back issue off the injury report now, so maybe this is a contest where they do sprinkle in more Stefon Diggs. But Kayshon Boutte, you like booty? This Boutte, he's been doing the business. He's a very talented young wide receiver as well. I do like Diggs this week with a safer floor, anywhere from 7 to 11 points, where Kayshon Boutte always possessing that TD upside. We could easily get us a 15 spot once again. So they're going to have to test the secondary. We'll see what Drake May does do versus Cleveland Browns defense. This is a good test for him, as a lot of these games have been somewhat cupcake outside of the Buffalo Bills, that is, even though he tore us up. We'll see what he can do versus Cleveland Brownies. Hunter Henry, TD floor in the green. Why? Because it is National Tight Ends Day. New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. TD upside for Hunter Henry, but it's going to be another TD dependency. That's what I'm saying. New Orleans Saints taking on these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Spencer Rattler, high-level risk. Do not like it. Do not touch it. Will not do it versus the Buccaneers, even though guys like Vita Vea are on the injury report as well. So they will be short-handed on the defensive side for Tampa Bay as well. But Spencer, he's been playing okay football. It's just he's not taking this team above and over and beyond. I think it's time we see Tyler Shogg come into play, the rookie they drafted. Let's just see what he's got. Maybe there's some better opportunities for Shogg to throw the football. But we'll see. Spencer Rattler, obviously the better of the two at this point, but high-level risk not touching it. It is killing our Alvin Kamara shares, no question. I thought my rationale going into the offseason was the fact that Spencer Rattler would find the check down to an Alvin Kamara, and we would have like 150 receptions this year. It's not that hard. I don't understand what he's not seeing. Just get Alvin. Every other quarterback, Drew Brees knew how to do it, Spencer. I don't understand what you're not looking at, dude. He's one of your best wide receivers. Check down safety blanket options. Throw him the damn football. See, I'm vying for all these players. Mid-level risk for Alvin. The upside right now just is not there because they refuse to check down. So it is what it is. No Kendre Miller. He's on injured reserve with a knee injury. Gone, I believe, for the season now, where Devin Neal will exercise as being the backup. It doesn't matter anyway because Alvin Kamara at this point takes 85% of the volume from the backfield anyway. So it is his backfield still. Chris Olave, CO2, my guy. He's at least been playing very well with Rattler, giving us some TD upside as well. We can play a Spencer versus these Buccaneers, where Rashid Shaheed, cooled off again. He have his blow-up games. This is a week he's likely getting tested deep, and he might catch another long touchdown. If you got Shaheed, I do like the play of him this week. Where Taysom Hill, high-level risk. They just don't utilize him like Sean Payton did, so it's high-level risk for me not playing it. Where Juwan Johnson, mid-level risk. He's got good upside this week. You want to believe, coming off a very good show last week, another boom contest. Why am I starting them on a mid-level risk? Because it is National Tight Ends Day. New York Giants taking on... I'm just kidding, man. You can't play all these tight ends, but I'm telling y'all, you're going to see a lot of tight ends making a lot of plays. New York Giants taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Jackson Dart, low-level risk. Fire him up everywhere you got him. The Eagles are just absolutely decimated on the defensive secondary. And the last time these two teams played, Wandale went off as well. Jackson Dart looked very impressive last week. You know, the losses like that do sting, so I will want to see how he does bounce back, man. They had the game in the bag, up 19-0, and you still blew that game, even after getting a lead with, 1 minute left in the contest. So we'll see how Jackson Dart does respond. Those are the types of games that could actually cripple a guy for the season. So we'll see. I'm still going to call him low-level risk. Got 4 boom games, playing very well. And, playing even against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly is going to be tough, but I do like Jackson Dart this week. Where Cam Scatterbo, 6 boom games, baby. This guy is an absolute killer. He's a dog, man, 106 points. Even with guys like Jalen Carter, he's still going to be able to run low-level risk, fire him up, because TD upside definitely is on the docket inside the 5-yard line. Where Tyrone Tracy found some life last week. I got to see more consistency with it. At least he got the monkey off his back, which was nice to see. Volume floor on the red for me. If you don't have better options because of all the injuries and bye weeks, I get it. But I want to wait one more week before I even recommend playing a Tyrone Tracy with Cam Scatterbo. Wandale Robinson, good upside on the green. I do like the play of Wandale this week, where Darius Slayton is coming back from his hamstring injury. Mid-level risk for me. Jalen Hyatt, can you play a Slayton? Flex appeal, low wide receiver, 3 numbers. He does get about 6-7 targets when he is on the field, so we will see. I mean, that hamstring injury definitely derailed him for the past 2 games. I don't dislike the play of Slayton, but it does worry me if he does tweak it again. But, I mean, versus Eagles secondary, there's going to be open opportunities where Jalen Hyatt not touching it, and Theo Johnson, TD upside on the mid-level risk. He should be able to at least find some sprinkles. Why? Because it is National Tight Ends Day. New York Jets taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Justin Fields, they were flirting with the opportunity of starting Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod is dealing with a knee issue as well, so I haven't seen anything to suggest that Tyrod's going to play over Fields at this point. But this Jets offense is an absolute mess. Breece Hall's dealing with a knee. Garrett Wilson's out already of this contest. We got Mason Taylor dealing with a quad, and Josh Reynolds dealing with a hip. That's their offense, dude. I mean, everybody is injured or hampered. It does not look good. Fields, high-level risk, not touching it. Breece Hall, injury risk on the mid-level. They've sucked the life out of this man. Breece Hall is such a good, talented running back, and they just completely removed all the life. He just got nothing left. He's tired of losing 0-7, tired of being injured, tired of taking the punishment for a team that doesn't care and doesn't win. Man, we got to play Breece because he still is one of those guys, but fully expect a 6 to 9 point showing once again, unless he finds his way into the end zone. There is no support for a pass game, so it's going to be very hard for Breece Hall. If you got better options, I don't hate benching Breece Hall this week. Isaiah Davis, if Breece can't go, mid-level risk, volume upside would be here, but again, garbage time is only thing we're going to be banking on in this contest for Breece or Davis, where Josh Reynolds may not suit up. Allen Lazard, Arian Smith, I'm not touching any of these wide receivers. High-level risk, where Mason Taylor, if he does suit up, PPR floor on the mid-level risk. There is a big-time risk even for him this week on National Tight Ends Day. It's not a good look for the New York Jets. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. Jalen Hurts and company. He had a good show last week. Low-level risk. As much as you guys criticize his pass game, as much as I criticize his pass game, Jalen Hurts 6 boom games, man. He's doing what he's required, man. 150 points so far in the season. He's doing well. Fire him up everywhere we got him versus New York Jets, even though the Giants, even though the Giants do have a stellar front 7 as well come after the quarterback, the Eagles know how to play the Giants, and they will compete in this contest, especially after dropping that first one earlier in the season. Jalen Hurts definitely should have a better day. Saquon Barkley. You know, this is the first time in a long time that I've put him as a volume upside on the green. It's no low-level risk. It's broken right now. This run game is busted, man. All the offensive line issues. We know that Saquon's dealing with an underlining, knee issue that's not necessarily on the injury report, but we know it's there, and it's a big problem at this point. So, I mean, for me, volume upside in the green. We obviously play Saquon. He's got to get back. This is a revenge game for him as well, but he just has not looked good in a number of weeks, and he is definitely disappointing. Fire up Saquon, and let's hope for the best. We're Devontae Smith, Smitty, we're A.J. Brown, grown-ass man. He is out of this contest with a hamstring injury, so Smitty should get the volume upside out the wazoo. He had a very good show last week. Low-level risk. Fire up Smitty everywhere we got him. Jahan Dotson would play second fiddle to this offense, but I don't buy it for a second, not touching Jahan or a John Mechie in relief, who I am playing. Why? Dallas Goedert on the low-level risk. Why, you may ask? Because it is National Tight Ends Day, but for real, this one is a good one. Dallas Goedert's been a killer this year, 4 boom games, almost 70 points. He should see a heaping of targets now that A.J. Brown is not in this contest. Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers' revenge game, and then some, man, taking on the prodigy of Jordan Love. AR is definitely going to be up for this one, and I mean, they haven't played poorly overall, the Steelers. The defense, like I said, does look old, so they are giving up a lot of plays. There just isn't, if they had another weapon to help out in Aaron Rodgers, maybe a better running game, then we would see this offense actually moving and threaten to be a playoff contender, but they're good enough to at least compete, and this Green Bay Packers team, it's going to be a fun show for me. I do like it quite a bit. Aaron Rodgers this week, you can absolutely fire him up on the revenge game. Jaylen Warren, volume upside on the mid-level. I do like it. 4 boom games, almost 70 points since coming back from his injury. He's doing very well. You can fire up a Warren everywhere you got him. Or Kenneth Gainwell, low floor on the high-level risk. Don't like it since Warren's been back. They just don't support 2 running backs in this offense. DK Metcalf, so up and down this week on the mid-level. I do like the play. I think that there can be holes that can be got through this Green Bay Packers secondary. Fire up DK everywhere you got him. Calvin Austin, not on the injury report, no more, so boomer bust on the red. Don't know if they're going to utilize him. That's been his MO, the yo-yo up and down. Pick your poison. If you like him this week, I do not. I don't trust him. Where Pat Freiermuth, the Moot, and Jonnu Smith, they got in the mix. So did all the other tight ends catching passes. I like Jonnu on the low-level risk this week. Fire him up everywhere you got him. Where Pat Freiermuth is a more riskier play, but I think they found something last week where they got these, quote-unquote thoroughbreds at the tight end position. They got to utilize them. I've been screaming at these Steelers to feed Pat Freiermuth over the past several weeks. He is an outstanding tight end. Why do you not utilize this man? His coaches drive me crazy, man. So Pat Freiermuth definitely has some appeal this week, but I do like Jonnu Smith to have the better contest on National Tight Ends Day. San Francisco 49ers take on the Houston Texans. Mac Money Jones, he gets a start this week again because Brock Purdy's not feeling Purdy this week. Neither is Ricky Pearsall. He is once again out of this contest. Mid-level risk for Mac Money. It's been tough sledding, man, and against this Houston Texans defense that is pretty good, man, pretty solid, especially on that back end as well. I don't like the play of Mac Jones this week. Mid-level risk, he should actually start to, look at, hairline fractures for all the hits that this man does take every single week. At least, he can move this offense, but it is predicated upon Christian McCaffrey, CMC. All y'all that let him drop in the draft, y'all kicking yourselves now. 7 boom games, low-level risk, 160 points. CMC is crushing it, man. Had a 30-point spot last week. Just absolutely killing it. Fire up CMC, obviously, everywhere we got him. B-Rob, not touching it. Where Jawan Jennings, he's off the injury report. So they bamboozled me last week. And I do apologize for that as well because they said, he's got all these injuries. He's got an ankle, he's got a knee, he's got a shoulder, he's got ribs, and now he's off the injury report in 1 week. Come on, y'all. You got to see what I'm saying, man. NBA is not the only one messing around with illegal betting advice. I'm telling y'all, but Jennings over a Kendrick Bourne at this point where Jennings does slot back into the number 1 role. Kendrick Bourne does slot back into number 2. So mid-level risk for Jennings versus Derek Stingley and company. Going to be still tough sledding. The floor is definitely lower than it would be versus a weaker team where Kendrick Bourne, he might get some sprinkles as well, but I do love the secondary of the Houston Texans, so it's a big risk for me to fire them up with high levels of confidence. George Kittle, the people's tight end, this is his day. He created the National Tight Ends Day, and I'd be foolish not to rank him as a low-level risk. Fire up George Kittle everywhere we got him. He cussed down Kyle Shanahan last week saying, I apologize for all the bettors and the fantasy players. I got 0 points this week, 0 catches. Blame Kyle Shanahan. They're going to force feed him this week, man. 1 game to get him his football legs back, get his everything back to football shape. This is a week they're going to utilize Kittle quite a bit. You got to believe. I foresee at least 1 touchdown, if not 2, coming to a George Kittle where Jake Tunges, he's the afterthought now unless he gets a few targets and gets lucky with a touchdown. Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New Orleans Saints. Bake Show. Baker Mayfield, they did not look good last week. Here's a get-right game in the best of ways, taking on the New Orleans Saints. Cupcake matchup for them should be, but we know Mike Evans gone for a long stretch now with that broken collarbone. Bucky Irving still dealing with his ailments, and Chris Godwin still not suiting up. So you got a injured hamstring in an Emeka Egbuka but I still like the bounce back in the green for Baker. They should absolutely have a better game plan this week with a lot more practice time with guys like Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson. Should be good. I like Baker this week as well. Likewise with Rachaad White, was the bad game last week, and I mean, he's been very, very startable for us in fantasy football since Bucky went down. Fire up Rachaad White everywhere he got him this week on a low-level risk. Sean Tucker, it's just not enough, man. I thought that they would have had at least a 60-40 split in this backfield with Sean Tucker. It's just not happening. He's a volume runner. Needs lots of touches to get going. I just don't foresee it in this one as well. Where Emeka Egbuka is going to be taking a lot of the volume this week. Low-level risk. Fire him up. Due in part to massive target share influence on his side. Sterling Shepard or Tez Johnson. For me, my money, I'm going Tez over Shepard this week. TD upside in the green for Tez, where Sterling Shepard would still possess that target upside on the mid-level risk. A good target floor for me in that sense. Where Cade Otton, low-level risk. No Mike Evans. You got to believe they're going to go back to the well. Stop trying so hard and take the easy plays, Baker. And a lot of those should be Cade Otton. Low-level risk for me this week for him as well. Why? Because it is National Tight Ends Day. Tennessee Titans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Cam Ward in this offense, not very good, not very special. At least they found something in a Chimere DK. I like this kid a lot coming out of Florida last year as well, coming in this draft, along with Alec Ailmaner, rookies, mid-level risk for both these gentlemen. They did, Tyler Lockett asked for his release, and subsequently they gave it to him. They said, okay, see you later. We'll go with the young rookies at wide receiver. So Cam Ward, high-level risk. He's showing some flash, but this team is in complete disarray. Tony Pollard, mid-level risk. It's pick your poison, man. You're getting 8 to 12 points. Like, that's it, unless he finds his way into the end zone. This pass game just is not feared near enough for Tony Pollard to be utilized. Tyjae Spears, if we thought Tony Pollard's upside was bad, it's even worse for Tyjae Spears at this point. Where Chimere DK, mid-level risk. Ailmaner, mid-level risk. Where Van Jefferson and Chig Okonkwo, high-level risk. Do not like it. If I'm playing anybody this week versus these Colts, I do like Ailmaner over a DK, but they're both in deeper leagues. Definitely worthy of a consideration. Last one we got is the Washington Commanders, the Commies, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. No JD, man. Jaden Daniels again injures that hamstring. He is out of this contest again. Injuries piling up on this man. He's got to learn to protect his body. That is the problem that I had with him coming out of his draft class, and another reason why I had Drake May ahead of him coming out of that draft class. So Marcus Mariota coming into this contest, he's got 2 boom games on the season. When he's had a full week of practice, Mariota's looked okay. Did not look good in relief last week as well. So low upside, mid-level risk versus a KC defense. That is good, and they will, come after him with a lot of pressure. I don't like the play of Mariota, but he does get some weapons back. Debo and Terry McLaurin is back in the contest. Mid-level risk for me. If I'm playing anybody, it is Debo over Terry. But if you got Terry, we've been holding him for too long. We got to fire him up and hope for the best that Marcus can actually force feed and get some touchdowns. It's going to be very difficult, but they at least script ways to get Debo the football. So I like Debo over Terry this week. Where JCM, Kroksky Merritt, better known as Bill. I do not like the Bill name. Mid-level risk versus KC defense that is going to come after the run a lot. It's going to be very difficult for him to find open lanes. Don't like JCM this week whatsoever. Where Jeremy McNichols, I had high hopes, and they just pulled him away. I thought this guy would be 100% the PPR upside guy that we were looking for. It just has not materialized overall. And Luke McCaffrey gets a downgrade now that Terry is back with Debo. Don't like a Luke McCaffrey, but TD upside in the green for a Zach Ertz, because Marcus Mariota does like the checkdowns, and he did have a touchdown last week as well, but he should have another sound day. Why? Because it's National Tight Ends Day. But there you have it. That is week number 8 start sit lineup advice. I know I annoyed the hell out of you guys with that National Tight Ends Day, but it's legit, man. You guys watch how many tight ends are going to score this week, and you will thank me later, because they're going to force feed all of them this week. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, drop all your questions in the comments. I will definitely get back to all y'all, and we got to get these dubs on a bye-week Armageddon. It is going to be very ugly, so let's hope for the best this week and get those dubs. But we'll see you next time. I am out.